Hello, I am Victoria Seed and I am coming to you from the Vesta Approach in Manchester, UK. I help women, professional women, business women, and retired women who are living with a loved one's addiction. And I can help you too. Every week, I do a live session on my social media about a topic related to addiction and family recovery. So, this week, what I wanted to cover was how you can start living your most happy and peaceful life while living with someone's addiction, because this is absolutely possible. This is something that I work with my clients with all of the time. So listen up, because I'm going to go through my 6 top tips to start doing just that. Okay. So first of all, what I would consider is this: are you working harder on your loved one's recovery than they are? So, depending on their stage of recovery, it's okay for you to work hard on strategies that work to motivate your loved one to make a change, or that are going to make your life easier and better. If you are throwing strategies out left, right, and center, setting a boundary over here, not sticking to it over here, um, constantly pushing for your loved one to change, it's not working, nothing's changing, nothing's helping. They might have changed for a little while, but there's no consistent, actionable, maintained change. Okay. So if you are doing those things, that all needs to stop, because what we've got to look at is which of these strategies are working, which are not. When your loved one is talking about change, what is happening around that? What behaviors have you noticed? Because they're the things that we need to work on. They're the things that we can look back at and say, do you know what? That had a little bit of an impact. So, how much effort are you putting into these strategies and how much change are you seeing? Because if you're not seeing any of that, then you're just creating loads of ways that you think are working that just aren't working. It takes up so much of your energy and so much of your time. So please stop working harder on your loved one's recovery than they are. Okay. Number 2, start putting your well-being at the top of your list of priorities. So if you are absolutely exhausted, if you have withdrawn from your friends, from your family members, if you stop going out yourself, if you're thinking stopping drinking yourself, stop taking drugs yourself, they are going to have an impact, and they may well do, not ideal for your own well-being. But if it's gone so far that you're not seeing anyone or doing anything or spending any time just being, and you're just constantly doing and busy, then it's time to start putting your well-being at the top of your list of priorities. I do see some women, more so very recently, who are really good at doing things and prioritizing their well-being and their exercise. But I'm finding that sometimes it's almost going too far over there, and it's just becoming a tool to make them even busier than they already are, in order to avoid managing the issue effectively. Okay. So going too far over here, doing, and not being, is something that I'm talking to my clients about quite a lot at the moment. So, well being, notice the B is being, not doing. We are human beings, not human doing. So, this is something that I'm uncovering quite a lot with my clients. So, bear that in mind. Put your well being at the top of the list. It's not all about doing, it is about being. Okay. Number 3 is stop trying to stop trying to stop your loved one's use. It just doesn't work, because what you're doing, you're trying to control somebody else. So, what you can do that I think is much more effective is focus on the behaviors surrounding their use. So, I'm working with some wonderful women at the moment in my group work program. There's a new one starting after Easter if you're interested. So, stop focusing on stopping use, because it's just not going to get you anywhere. Think about the behaviors that you're seeing around the youth. So, what are you seeing when they're sober? What are you seeing when they're intoxicated? What are you seeing when they're coming down or hungover? All right. So, they're the things that I would start thinking about. And they're the things that I would start either making a request, a polite request, when I see you feeling suicidal after binging, it makes me feel really sad. So, it would be great if in future you could find some support and help around that. I'm happy to help you with that. So that is making a request for a behavior change. They might not take any notice whatsoever. You can set a boundary around it, which might be something like, oh, I'm going on to that on point four, so let's hang fire with that. All right, so point four, set a boundary based on what you will do if these behaviors occur around you. So this is what I was getting to. If you see your loved one behaving in a way that you don't like, whether it's drinking and driving, whether it's hassling you for money, whether it's being, a little bit emotionally unstable around your children or not being very kind to you, whatever it is, they're the behaviors that you can go back to them. Perhaps not straight away when they're sober, because we don't want these sort of conversations to be a punishment. But as soon as you feel is appropriate, like within the next week, perhaps you can say something like, um, if I feel I'm being emotionally manipulated, if I feel pressured because you're hassling me for money, if I feel like the children are being affected when you're intoxicated, then this is what I am going to do. And think about what you're going to do, and then you need to do it. Okay, and it doesn't have to be anything drastic like I'm going to kick you out, because that's not going to go down well. What it's going to be is, I'm going to remove myself in the situation, or I'm going to take the kids out, or I'm going to ask you if you can go somewhere else, and if you can't do that, then we're going to go somewhere else. See what I mean? Or we're going to go to bed, or we're going to go watch a movie, and blah blah blah. So whatever it is, you've got to set those boundaries around those behaviors that you see. So you're not directly focusing on the drinking or the drug use necessarily. You're focusing on the behavior, because that's going to have more impact. Okay. Number five, you need to really think about stepping back. So I'm working with lots of women at the moment, and one of the things that I see is that, the jumping in every time their loved ones use, they're going around to check they're okay. If there's been suicidal ideation, I understand why that might be difficult to step back from. And, definitely get advice around this. Come and work with me and we'll work through it together. But they've got to experience all of the consequences of use in order to have that intrinsic motivation to change. So you putting pressure on, you rescuing, you going around doing everything, you ringing in sick to work, whatever it is, covering up for whatever reason, it just isn't going to have a real influence on the change. So please, 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 if you can, you need to start stepping back and allow your loved one to experience the consequences of the use. So we want to reduce enabling behaviours. It makes it easier for them to use because they're getting rescued, they're getting everything done for them, there are no consequences, and then increase the consequences of that behaviour, the negative consequences, so that they can start feeling that impact and thinking about making a change. And finally, number six, last but not least, is modeling the life you want your loved one to live. So if your loved one sees you constantly in a doom and gloom, in states of depression and anxiety, which if you feel that, please get some help around that. I'm not saying that's not okay, by the way. What I'm saying is, if you can model the life you want your loved one to live, going doing things, practicing your own self-care, getting on with your life no matter what, your loved one's going to see it and they're going to want more of the same. Okay, and it's going to be better for you. So please, please, please come and join my Facebook community. The group is there on the screen. I would love to have you in there if you are a business, retired, or professional woman who's living with somebody else's problem drinking or drug use. You're more than welcome. And otherwise, you can DM me for help and we'll set up a friendly chat. Okay, I'll